Good afternoon, Britain. Some breaking news now. In the last few minutes, a nurse has been sentenced at Preston Crown Court to 7 years and 2 months in jail over the ill treatment of stroke patients at Blackpool Victoria Hospital.
Our reporter Sophie Reaper joins us now in the studio with the latest. Can you explain this case?
Absolutely. So back in October, we found that Catherine Hudson was guilty of these offences. Today was the sentencing at Preston Crown Court. She basically had been sedating some of the patients at Blackpool Victoria Hospital, essentially, to quote the case, because she didn't want to have to deal with them and that because she wanted an easy life. Now, that is, of course, horrendous, and the judge has said that this is a highly unusual case and that it's damaged public trust in the health system, as of course it would. So she's received 7 years and 2 months in prison. Half of that will be served in jail, and then the rest she'll be allowed to do on licence. There's also another nurse, Charlotte Wilmot. She's also received jail time today. She's had 3 years in prison for partaking in this, but also both of them have been charged with theft. They were also stealing drugs from the ward. Catherine Hudson, we heard today, was stealing drugs from a terminally ill patient. So that has added on to her sentence. So it's really quite a horrific thing. And I think in the wake of Lucy Letby, obviously, that damaged public trust a lot. We've now seen more nurses in the North West. It is really just quite horrendous.
It is deeply unfortunate that these are two cases that have affected the North West, that are in the North West, to do with deep malpractice in the healthcare sector. I wonder, is this just the tip of the iceberg? Is there more going on across the country, possibly?
Absolutely. I mean, this isn't the first nursing scandal we've seen. They've happened all over the country. It just seems that these two have come so close together that the spotlight really is on the North West. Obviously, we know that a statutory inquiry is taking place regarding Lucy Letby. That has asked trusts all over the UK about potential CCTV on our wards, whether that's necessary now. It's also asked about the culture in our trust, that toxic culture. I mean, the fact that these two nurses have been sedating patients who have had strokes, things like that, just so that they can have an easy life.
How was this found out initially? Do you know? Was there a whistleblower?
Yes. She was working alongside a young nurse, and the whistle was blown against her, and that launched a full investigation to find out more about this. And obviously, thank heavens for that, because these families have come out and, of course, they're going to be troubled by this for the rest of their lives, that their family members who we should be able to trust the staff at our hospitals, and evidently that's not always the case.
Absolutely, and this might reap a culture of suspicion and of concern for families and patients,
better a culture of whistleblowing than a culture of cover-up.
Well,
and I suppose that was also a case in the Lucy Letby scandal.
Absolutely. I think that we knew that from the very beginning some of her colleagues had blown the whistle on her and nothing was done. There was a full year where she was allowed to get away with those crimes. And that's another thing that's now been investigated by Cheshire Police. There's a corporate manslaughter investigation going on about the senior members of staff at the Countess of Chester to find out exactly why people were blowing the whistle and yet nothing was done. And that's something that I think is now going to be happening at trusts all over the country to make sure that when someone does raise an issue like this, that it's taken seriously.
Well, thank you very much for bringing us that breaking news. Our reporter Sophie Reaper in the studio with us.